use Zoom better. I am doing my first ever monthly live with me or plan with me streaming, and I am streaming to all the places right now. So this is a little weird for me. I am streaming to, okay, I think we're going now. Oh, I might have started talking too early. It's the first time I've ever done this. First time I've ever done a live stream to YouTube from Zoom to my groups from Zoom, and I actually realized I never clicked the go live button in any of my groups. I'm literally streaming to my free community. Okay, wait, now I'm getting issues from Facebook. I don't know if anybody else uses Facebook groups, but the change they made to their streaming is such a pain in the ass. It totally is. But since I am streaming in 3 different places right now, I still haven't seen the YouTube one pop up. So I hope it is working on YouTube. No freaking clue if it is. I can't find it if it is. And if it's not, sorry, not sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to stream to this many places all at once. Yeah, I don't think it's working on YouTube, but we're just gonna roll with it. So I wanted to pop in today since it's the last day of August. And because I was gonna do some other stuff in my systems today, I thought it would be really helpful for me before I do any of that other stuff to do my monthly plan with me. And as I started saying, I don't know if it got caught in the streams or not, but as I started saying a second ago, I have been very not on top of my weekly plan with me. So if you guys follow me at all, I typically sit down over the weekend and I do a review and a reflection of my previous week and I plan for the upcoming week. That is something that I have been doing for forever. And I'm usually super freaking consistent with it, but this has not been one of the months where I have been very consistent with it. I don't know what it is about August, but August always ends up being like chaos in my life. I feel like I'm just trying to milk summer for all it's worth, and I'm just doing all the things in August, and that has been how this August has been as well. So I have not been doing weekly reviews, which is typically what I build my monthly reviews off of, my monthly plannings off of. So this is probably going to look a lot more like perhaps what your plan with me's look like. If you do monthly planning, you may not have the weekly check-in to work off of. So this is perhaps going to look a lot more like what you might experience and what you might do. So with no further ado, let's just get into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you a little bit about how I do my monthly plannings in Notion. I'm just going to go ahead and really quickly double check that shit is working because I don't actually know if it is still. It looks like it is. We've still got a stream going in the free community. We've still got a stream going. I just can't figure out the YouTube stream, but if I screwed it up, whatever. We're just not going to worry about it right now. So, like I said, we're going to do the monthly plan with me. I cannot believe it's August already. Like, what the hell has happened to the year? And I previously made some changes to my monthly planning template that I'm pretty sure I updated in here. Let's double check that the template is updated. Yeah, I did make this change because I personally was finding I don't use a lot of this stuff. I don't really use so like if you can see, let me duplicate it. I don't really use to this guy. I wasn't really using this, or at least I was finding it to be very, very redundant to do this intentions, personal goals, business goals, etc. Because my goals usually overlap a little bit with all sorts of different parts of my life. I'm kind of usually already capturing some personal goals, capturing some business goals, etc. when I set my goals, and it just felt redundant to add more over here. I also just generally don't like to set this many goals for a month. I kind of felt like when I did it more felt like I felt like failure at the end of the month when I did, really because of the fact that I never really accomplished all of them unless I made them like microscopic. Let's be honest, that is not generally how I operate when I set goals. So that is something I took out. I also kind of changed how I organize some of this stuff. And actually, I need to update this because I started using a slightly different finance tracker. So the finance part of this is going to be a little out of date. But that being said, I've been trying more and more to just simplify my planning, to make it less redundant. And so that's what I'm going to be showing you today. So since I've already updated this monthly review template, which I'm just going to write it down on paper since I don't want to deal right now. I need to go in and I need to update my planning template with the new finance tracker. Planning template. Finance tracker. And that's for my monthly planning template, since I'm not using my old finance tracker anymore. I moved everything over to a simpler one. I've been trying to simplify because I, like a lot of us, get a little bit too caught up in having way too much complexity in my systems, and that is not sustainable. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this template here. Oh, thank God it didn't change my cover photo. I would have been pissed if it changed my cover photo because I like my cover photo. Okay, so the planning bit I am going to skip out on because it's the end of August. It is not the start of August. So I don't need to plan for the month right now. I just need to review the month. So really all of this planning stuff, I'm just going to bury it. I'm just going to do like do a toggle planning, and I'm going to bury all of it because I didn't use it and I don't really need to see it, because I was a slacker in all things planning this month. So there we go. I'm just going to focus on the review part, and then I will plan for September when I'm done with it. So goals check-in, I didn't actually set any goals for this month. So actually what I'm going to go ahead and do for goals check-in instead, let's go back here. I'm going to look back at my goals that I set for the quarter, which again, summer's hard, man. I really need to learn this about myself and how I plan and how I approach work and whatnot over the summer. Is I don't operate in the same way in the summer as I do the rest of the year. I am just a lot more, lack of a better way to say it, I'm a lot more like loosey-goosey. I don't care as much about staying on top of goals. I'm just kind of almost trying to just focus on the minimums over the summer and just enjoy myself, because this is my favorite time of year, and it's like the one time of the year that it's actually like nice where I live. So that was one of my goals. I'm glad I did these synced blocks because this actually makes it tremendously easy to move my goals over. So these are my quarterly goals. I'm just going to move these goals over. Oopsies, what did I just do? Oh, I moved it. That's not what we wanted. But I deleted it. At least I didn't delete it. And I'm just going to check in with these goals because, like I said, didn't set any goals for August specifically. I don't even think I set goals for July, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so I may have actually done better than I thought I did with my goals. So in terms of kind of checking in on each of these, maintain my self-care routines, my morning routines, my evening routines, my health routines, my movement routines, and continue to ramp up my step goal. I will say with this one, I don't feel like I've been intentional about, and I'm not going to write any of this out. I'm just going to kind of talk it out today. I don't feel like I've been super intentional about. That being said, I actually look at this and I'm pretty happy with how this goal's been going. And again, partially because it's summer, I do a better job at movement over the summer, especially non-gym movement, like getting outside, walking, enjoying the nice weather. I just did inherently do that a lot better over the summer. So I'm pretty happy with how this has been going. Even the ramping up my step goals, obviously there's some shit weeks, but I'm pretty happy with how this has been going. Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, and actually I don't usually do this, but I feel like doing this. I'm just going to change that to a green check mark because I'm pretty happy with how that has been going. Get my financial shit together, establish and stick to my budgets, get back to a weekly finance day, do a no spend challenge for the next 3 months, only consumables. I actually am pretty damn happy with how this has been going. I don't have budgets, which I should make sure I do that. But I have been getting back into not necessarily a weekly finance state. So I'm going to cross out that weekly part. No, actually, I'm not going to cross it out, but I'm going to underline it and I'm going to say not quite weekly. But I've been doing a lot better with staying on top of my finances. And I spent a good chunk of time, I think it was last week, actually updating my entire finance tracker for the whole year, which was a bitch, but I did it. And then doing a no spend challenge. Again, I haven't necessarily been super on top of this one. Is there like a squiggly line? Nope. Thought I was trying to do squirrel. I guess I don't have to do an emoji. I could just kind of say kinda. I haven't been fully just consumables, but I do feel like my spending has been super down and I've been super aware of where my money is going, not spending excessively. Like literally me and my friends get together and we have free dates now. Like we don't go out to eat per se, but we will just go do something that has no cost to it. Like spend time together. Like my friend and I went on a photo date. We both brought our cameras and we just took pictures together and it was fun and we had a good day. Okay, work through Speak to Freedom and implement the marketing strategies to build a speaking business that's fully booked out. So I have been doing this, but I have not booked 4+ more speaking engagements for 2024 and looking to book for 2025. But I have implemented the marketing strategies. I need to be a bit more consistent with them. Be more consistent. And I might eventually take some of these notes out of these synced blocks, but for now, this is fine. So build different, more aligned offers for individuals, launch Burn Up for Business as a group program, September, end of September, and start booking VIP days. This is in progress. So this hasn't been completed yet, but this is something I'm working on. So I'm just going to change that to like an arrow. I'll do the same thing with this one, like a right arrow with this one. So I'm really happy actually with how goals have been going for the quarter. These 2 goals are in progress. They're not like done yet, but they are definitely in progress. Okay, let's see what else we've got going here. And also let's just make sure that the streaming is still working. I'm going to check in with this a lot because I don't trust technology, especially this stream, like this live streaming from Zoom shit on Facebook ever since they changed that freaking requirement. Yeah, it still doesn't look like it's working on YouTube, but who gives a shit? All right. So now what we're going to do, and again, this part, what I usually do when I do these memories and successes check-ins is I check in on my weekly reviews and I just pull those things over. I don't have that this month. Like I've already said, I didn't do weekly reviews. I kind of sucked at it, but I can look back at my calendar. This is a great way for me to kind of remind myself of the memories and the successes of the month without me necessarily having done weekly reviews. So memories of the month, I went to Blue Lake with my aunt, uncle, parents, and I always call them my bonus aunt and uncle. My mom has this friend that she grew up with. He's basically like literally like brother from another mother. That is what he is for her. And he's kind of like my dad's brother from another mother. He like brings the fun side out of my dad, which is awesome. So that was great. I had a really, really good time at Blue Lake with them. And then I had a trip to Tampa for a speaking gig, which was a blast. And I had another year with this group. They brought me back 2 years in a row now to speak at their in-service day. And that was a blast. We had a really good day that week. Oh yeah, photo date was this month. Speaking of the photo date I went on with my friend, we went on a photo date together and it was a blast. And that was this month. I didn't realize that was this month. God, a lot of stuff has happened this month. I also went to my family cabin with my 2 best friends. And we had a great weekend despite the fact that the weather was super shitty. I went to Boise with my aunt Lisa and we went to the Kaleo concert, which was a blast. Yeah, this has been a month. This has been a lot of trips this month. And a lot of speaking gigs. So I would say successes is I feel like I've successfully gotten through the financially hardest several months of my adult life. It's been a challenge, but I got through it and I'm surviving and I'm proud of myself. Speaking of which, I should check my bank account because I got paid yesterday for my day job. But that is probably the biggest success I've had. And I also am really, these are going to be like very atypical successes for me. I don't typically, these are not typically the successes I write down, but I'm super the financially hardest several months of my life. And I'm really happy and proud of how I've balanced this month with social stuff, trips, seeing people, and getting stuff done. Like I'm really, really happy with that. And in terms of what can be improved, I feel like the biggest things that I want to focus on improving right now are just creating that structure again in my life as we exit summer and go into the rest of the year. I also want to create more intention in my business and what I'm driving toward and offering. I think those are the biggest things that I want to improve. So after I do my check-in on my memories, my successes, and you'll notice in here that I took out the what worked, what didn't work, and what can I improve from the monthly. I'm trying that. This is the first month that I've ever not done that. Let me kind of show you what July looks like. Did I not do a review in July? God, I've been a slacker on doing my reviews this summer. Okay, let's look at June. So when I look at June, you'll see, dude, I didn't do it here either. Ellen, what is up with you? All right, we're apparently going all the way back to May, and you'll see that my monthly check-in has looks like a bit different. This is what I used to do. And what I started realizing is I don't like how repetitive this gets. Like, there's no point in me going through and like copying things from previous months. It's just kind of a waste of time. So that's something that I took out. We'll play with it. We'll see if I like it. And I'm just focusing on my memories, my successes, and generally taking a look back at the month and figuring out what can I improve. So then the next thing I always do, and this is something that's probably always going to be in my monthly review, is checking in with my values. So these are my values. These are my value statements, which is how I think of a value statement. It's like a personal definition of what that value means to you. And I go in and I score myself, and then I tell myself why I gave myself that score. So, also, I'm just going to experiment with something right now. If I made this not full width, then I went like this, and I went like this. Oh, then I couldn't make that. See, something always pisses me off about Notion. Not pisses me off, but or irritates me a little bit, is I don't always like how things look when it's full width, but I never use the non-full width version because I don't like the fact that I can't adjust the width of the everything. You can only do it for things that are multi-column. So I wish this was centered, but I can't center it. So say la vie. So authenticity. Huh. I don't actually know how to score myself. Maybe like a 3. I tend to do a 3 when I'm really not sure. I think the reason, so I think the trusting myself was here because I kind of had to with the financial situation I was in of the last couple months. And money just being really tight, and that came with a lot of trust and knowing that I could get through it and knowing that it was going to be okay. And then I'm gonna give myself a 4 because I think even in the being myself in all that I do, that also was there. Like, I spent a lot of time around family this month, and I think with that, that can oftentimes mean that we're not necessarily being ourselves if we feel like there's points of contention with our family, whether it just be political or the things that are, just the little things that our families can kind of always nitpick us about. For me, it's my marital status and my job status. Although my family's much more on board with me having a business now, they don't get it still in a lot of capacities, which is tough at times. The heck focus mode am I on? Okay, there we go. But I think I spent a lot of time with my family, and I think I was myself in a way that I was happy with, not necessarily proud of. Like, there weren't a lot of situations where I really had to stick to my guns, but fulfillment, I'm actually gonna give, this might seem harsh. Man, a 2 does seem too harsh. Maybe a 3. I am fulfilled in the sense that I'm still really happy with the work I'm doing, and the client interactions I've had have confirmed that. But I'm still, I feel like I'm not pushing myself. And in that sense, I'm not being fulfilled. Um, so I definitely think that's kind of an aha that came out of this. And I think what I wrote up here of creating more intention in my business and what I'm toward or driving toward and offering, I think it's going to help with that. Belonging, I would give this one a 5. I felt like I spent a lot of time with my people this month, and I felt really good about the time I spent with said people this month. So I definitely feel like that belonging was there. Prosperity, we'll be honest, this one is a 2. It's a 2. Feel good about my health direction and the momentum I have right now in my health, but my safety and security financially is anxiety inducing. We'll just say that. It's been a rough summer in that sense. And then freedom, I do feel really, really good about freedom. I feel like I took full advantage of the remoteness of my work this month. I adventured a lot. I got away a lot this month. I really took advantage of that. So I'm feeling really good about this. So that's kind of, I like to do that values check-in with myself every month, see how I'm feeling about my values. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Values work is one of the most important things for preventing emotional burnout. And for me, ever since I got super, super clear on what my values were and what they meant, this is something that I think is a super important aspect of burnout prevention, especially if you're somebody who struggles with fulfillment and you struggle with the emotional sides of burnout. Knowing your values and checking in them is going to make a big difference. And this is how I do it for myself. Then I usually do a business reflection. So I'll eventually go through, I'm not going to do it right now, and I'm going to input my finances for my business in August, and then I'll assess the data from my business. So what I generally do, and I don't think I'm going to show this just because for me to show this, I would have to go in and show you my lead tracker and my CRM for my business. And I just want to keep people's names private. But what I do in a nutshell is I will go in and I will keep track of my leads, and then I mark what month I gathered that lead. And it will, so like mine's out of date because it says I only had 1 lead this month, and that's not true. But I will go through and I will count up all of the leads in my business. And then I will keep track of where they're at in the process, in the lead tracking process, and where I got them. So where the percentage of those leads were from. And then I obviously also keep track of my income and my expenses. So that's something I do need to do that I'm not necessarily going to show just for privacy reasons. But then the next thing I do is after I do that, I'll check in with my data. So am I happy with the number of leads? Am I happy with the number of conversions? Is there any interesting regarding where my leads are coming from? And then how was my mindset in my business this month? And I feel like this one's a little tricky to answer. Is because I kind of feel like my business wasn't my focus this month. I feel like I went through the motions in my business, which I don't like acknowledging that, but I do kind of feel like that. I feel like I went through the motions in my business, and I didn't push myself, but I also feel like that's like the achiever in me that doesn't like that my business wasn't my focus and that I didn't push myself. I feel like my intention and my focus for the month, whether I meant it to be or not, was just on my personal life and having fun and enjoying myself. And it wasn't on my business. And for a high achiever, that's just hard to wrap your brain around. It's okay. I know that, like rationally, I know that, but I still struggle with the fact that I didn't push myself and I didn't accomplish as much this month. I know that makes sense to you because I know I've got a lot of achievers in this group. So my business wasn't my focus this month. I feel like I went through the motions in my business and I'm still just kind of trying to wrap my brain around how I feel about that. Okay. So I think I was okay with that in the moment, but in retrospect, I don't like it. I want to get to the point where I'm okay having months like this without it A, negatively impacting my finances, and B, my mindset and feelings about how my month. How was my schedule in my business this month? I actually think my schedule in my business was very manageable, but I actually think this question should perhaps be rephrased to be my schedule in general, because my schedule in general this month was a lot socially. Like my friends, I actually had a friend I hopped on a Zoom call with the other day and I told her all the things that have been going on and how my August has been and that it's been a little crazy. And she asked me, like, how are you? Like, how are you handling it essentially? Because she knows me and she knows that that's a lot for me. I'm doing okay. I don't feel burned out. I don't feel like anything negative other than the fact that I am looking forward to some down weekends. I am looking forward to the fact that I'm not going anywhere this weekend. I do have a family birthday party tomorrow, which I'll admit, even though it's my nephew's birthday and I love him, I wish I didn't have because I wish I just could stay home and just veg and relax and whatnot. So, but I do feel like that is the takeaway from this month is it was a lot socially. Like I only had one weekend where I didn't have things going on. Um, and and I feel like I still ended up doing something. Yeah, that was the weekend where my friend came down and we did our photo date. And so there was still something happening that weekend. How did I feel about things in my business this month? Just kind of, I mean, I loved the speaking clients I had this month. The speaking part of my business this month was very fulfilling. I feel very meh about everything else because it feels like nothing's happening. So that's kind of generally how I feel about my business. What am I promoting right now? Pull from above. I didn't do this. So I'm just going to delete this. And then is my marketing getting me in front of my ideal client? Yes and no. I think they're there and they're in front of me. I think I need to work on my messaging. But that's something that is on the to-do list, best believe. So this is kind of my check-in. So I do a little bit of a check-in with myself. So this is my goals. This was very kind of like up here. This is like my personal check-in because I kind of think of my goals is this is the personal side of things. And then this is my business check-in. So I do that every month. And then what I do, and I would typically probably not do these all in one setting, but I'm going to right now because I'm here and I'm doing it. Then what I would do is I would go over here and I would, oh, I have a post on IG reminder on my phone. My phone charge. I forgot to charge my phone last night. It's almost charged. We'll count it. Let's see. Did I schedule something to post? I thought I did. I'll have to check on that later. Okay. So I'll do that later. So then what I've got this month. So what I'm going to do first and foremost. Oh, actually what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to delete this template and apply the new template because this is the old template. So first and foremost, that's what we're going to do. And then like I've kind of done previously, I am going to plan my goals for this month. And I'm going to start by pulling in the goals from the quarter like I did already. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to kind of break each of these down. So health goal was to maintain my self-care routines, my morning routines, my evening routines, my health routines, and my movement routines. For those of you who are in my community, you saw that I did something the other day where we talked about how to create a sustainable schedule for yourself. I personally think that my biggest thing that I want health-wise this month is I want to kind of riff off of that. I want to riff off of the sustainable schedule that I created this, when I touched on this before. So that I think I want to do here. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up video week. I want to pull this up. So I think one of my biggest focuses this month is going to be consistent wake up times and front loading my self-care. So let's say, my goal is to maintain my self-care routines, blah, blah, blah. So in terms of what that means for this month, what I'm going to focus on doing is consistent wake up times at 6:30 a.m. and consistent bed times at 10:30 p.m. So that's going to be one of the goals for this month. I do think I want to do a strong breakfast. Or I actually think what I want to do here is I want to eat 15 grams of protein pre-workout, like / movement. So it might just be a walk that day. And 30 plus grams of protein post movement / walk. So that's going to be one of the biggest focuses I want to have from like an eating perspective. I think the rest of these should still be achievable. So a weekly goal of 6,000 steps each week, average. I want to actually see what were my steps this week because I want this week to happen more often. I love it. I opened my phone to check that and I got sidetracked by something else. Okay, so this week, my average has been 8,000 steps. And that is with thus far 2 days that were really low and 2 days that were really high. And then 3 days that were kind of average. Let's do that. I think I'm going to bump it. We'll not go up to 8,000 yet, but let's say I want my average steps each week to be 7,000. So we're just bumping it up a little bit. And I want to eat 100 plus grams of protein per day. So something that I've been doing for my health goals is instead of focusing on so many numbers, I focus on way, way fewer numbers. So actually, I think all I want to worry about this week, I'm going to take out the one about 15 grams pre-workout, 30 grams post-workout. I want to do my consistent wake up times, but all I'm going to work bumping up my step goal to 7,000, or this month is bumping up my step goal to 7,000 average each week and making sure I'm hitting consistent protein numbers. So that'll be the goal there. I'm going to delete this. And then my next goal, I've got get my financial shit together. Okay. I want to do budgets this month. So set budgets. I also want this month to do each week, do a finance check-in. This has not happened each week. I've just kind of been doing it in big spurts over the summer. It's getting better. And I want to do a no spend for September, only consumables. Because I am sick of my impulse being to buy money when I'm trying to numb, or buy things when I'm trying to numb. Okay. Will attract expenses and incomes. Okay, we're gonna delete that. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, so work through Speak to Freedom and implement the marketing strategies. I think I want to, oops, let me copy this. So I want to review the marketing strategies from this program. just to make sure there's nothing that I'm missing. I want to book, say, I will be ambitious, 4+ more speaking gigs. And we want to book, we'll just do that. Review the Speak to Freedom and book 4+ new speaking gigs. All right, so let's delete that. That'll be that goal. And then last but not least, this one. Okay. This I personally feel like is the biggest goal that I have. So what we're going to do is I'm going to star this one because this is the one I care about the most for this month. So what I want to do is I actually want to launch my sustainable systems course / program this month. What just happened? That's probably my biggest one. And then I want to make a plan to launch burnout proof business. And then I want to just kind of work on my messaging and attracting the right clients. Those are my goals, I would say, for this. Okay, there we go. And actually, what I'm going to go ahead and do so that this is a little bit more front and center is I'm going to put this goal here. Actually, I don't like that. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to highlight it in a different color because I don't think it's got a color right now. Yeah, so we'll do yellow background. So that one's really highlighted. All right, and so now I can see what's coming up this month. I'm going to delete this because I'm not going to it. I can see kind of when I have full days versus when I have less full days. All that jazz. So I can kind of see everything here. I do need to cancel this massage. And then my schedule in terms of, because these are all of the things that are actually like scheduled things. My schedule populates every 2 weeks. So as it moves along, the rest of this is going to populate. And then I'm going to delete this because I'm not using that anymore. And then I'll do the weekly planners as they come. So then in terms of my business planning, what am I promoting right now? Like I said, I'm going to be working on the sustainable systems. Actually, I think I have a page for that. So I can tag it. Yeah, no, that's not sustainable, this one. So I'm going to be promoting that. Where am I promoting it? I'm going to be promoting it on LinkedIn, Threads, and Instagram. That's the goal of me promoting it there. I want to make sure people know about it. So when it comes out, they're ready and excited for how it can. So that's kind of the business side of things. I'm realizing I used to be somebody who really liked the small text thing on Notion. I'm realizing I don't like it as much anymore. Are my eyes getting worse? I hope that's not what it is. Okay, so that's all the planning I do now is just take a peek at my schedule, take a peek at what my goals are for the month, so on and so forth. And I do actually think I want to do something that I've never done before, actually. I want to set reminders for myself for when I want this done. So like, for example, I want to set budgets and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set a reminder for September 7th to check in on that. The rest of these I should have kind of built in, though I am going to say at next Friday, I'll have it remind me to do a finance check-in. You Speak to Freedom. I want to do this by next Saturday. And then here, make a plan for this. Let's say I want to do this by Saturday. And then that's just going to be by the end of the month that I want to do that. Though actually, I'm going to make a reminder for myself on Thursday. Next Thursday, we'll say, to check in on that and make a meeting plan for that. All right. Perfect. I feel like I am on top of things for the next month. So that's kind of my weekly or my monthly review, my monthly planning. Again, I've tried to simplify it like tremendously compared to what I did before. But if you've got any questions about anything that I just did there, I haven't really been monitoring the chat, which has been trying to make sure that the stupid live stream is actually going. But if you've got any questions, again, feel free to reach out to ask. And if you are interested in the templates that I've been using, I'm going to be updating my Notion Ultimate Digital Planner very soon. So that's definitely something that's going to be coming. But if this is something that you're interested in, I have that Notion digital planner, or I do have tons of services for helping you with your Notion system. So if that is something you need, that's something you're going to benefit from, definitely reach out, let me know. I love to help people with their Notion system. So I would love to help you. So with that, thanks friends. Have a